While I'm setting up here, you can open your bulletins to where the scripture is found in the center panel. It comes from the 15th chapter of Luke, where Luke, the evangelist, in putting together his gospel, has done something unique to him. He has placed three parables, all with a similar theme, but he's brought them together. We know this because they aren't found in the same order in our other Gospels. And it makes sense because I won't read all three of them, but they all talk about something lost. The first one is a lost sheep, the second is a lost coin, and then the one before you is called the prodigal, or the lost son. Last Sunday, if you were here, you will recall the lectionary text was on the cursing of the fig tree. And of course, that raised a lot of questions because Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell it differently. I had mentioned that fig trees bear their fruit first, then their leaves. So it's not unusual to expect fruit when you arrive at the tree, but Jesus didn't. And didn't find fruit there. And so the text said he cursed it. And it died. And Mark is the one who gives us an explanation. He said it's the same thing. Jesus was upset at this tree and cursed it. He cursed it, but Mark says it didn't have figs because it wasn't in season. Now, that's a baffling one as well. So we have these scriptures that vary, and they all have meaning and purpose and value for us. However, there are some discrepancies and some differences among them. Today's is the same way. Today is the very same. We have a story about things that are lost. And what I'm going to propose to you is that the way we've grown up learning this story or being taught this story is not necessarily the way first century Jews would have learned it or heard it. Doesn't mean it doesn't have value the way we have, but maybe we've been preaching it wrong. Pray with me. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to read the scripture, right? I'll do that. I will paraphrase as I go because it is rather lengthy. We have the tax collectors and sinners were all together. They were gathered to hear Jesus speak, but the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, they were muttering. The people in the back, they're muttering. They said, "This man welcomes sinners. He even eats with them." So Jesus told this story. He said there was a man who had two sons, and the younger one said, "Dad, give me my share of the estate." So the father divided his property between them. And not long after, the young son got together all he had and set off for a distant land where he spent everything. He squandered it on great living. After he had run through his inheritance, there was a severe famine in the whole country, and he was in need. So he went and hired himself to someone in that country who sent him out to the fields to feed pigs. And since he was hungry, had nothing to fill his stomach, and the pigs were eating the pods, he decided he would eat them as well. And he came to his senses, it says, and he thought, "My father's hired servants have it better than I do. I'm going to go back to him, and I will confess that I've made a huge mistake. I've sinned against him. I've sinned against heaven. You do not have to take me back as a son, but I am asking for your compassion." And as he arrived, the father saw him from a far-off distance, was filled with compassion. He ran to this son, threw his arms around him, kissed him. And the son said, "Father, I have sinned against heaven, and I have sinned against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servants, "Quick, Bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. We're going to have a feast and celebrate, for the son who is dead is alive, who is lost is found." So they celebrated. Meanwhile, there was an older son, an older brother out in the field. And when he came near the house, he heard all the music and the dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. And the servant said, "Your brother's come home." And he replied, "And your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound." Well, the older brother became upset and refused to go in. So the father went out and pleaded with him. But he said to his father, "Look, Dad, all these years I've been slaving for you, never disobeyed your orders, yet never did you give me even a young goat, a party, so I could celebrate with my friends. But this son of yours," which is what I say to my wife when I'm upset, "this son of yours has squandered your property, comes home, you kill the fatted calf for him. My son," the father said, "you have always been with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and now is alive. He was lost and is now found."